sat all my courses at the RSPBA. Started when I was in the Scottish Power Band. I did the intermediate certificate, did the advanced certificate when I was my first year in Field Marshal. When I was teaching at the Piping Center, Roddy wanted all the instructors, even the evening instructors, to go through the Institute of Piping exams. So I had my senior teacher certificate and my graduate certificate with the Institute of Piping. And I really owe that down to Christine, because in the dancing it's very much an examining process that you go through and you learn the ranks. In bagpiping, we tend to, when we get to the twilight of our career, then we start thinking about doing the exams. With Christine's influence and Christine's kind of pushing me out of bed and kicking me out of bed on the Sunday morning when these courses were going on, driving through to Barrhead or to Washington Street to take these courses. Generally, guys nowadays, they think about doing that when they're at the end of their careers instead of maybe the midway point, you know. When it came around to it, I was an adjudicator for a number of years while I was in Field Marshal. What wanted me to become an adjudicator was that my wife would be asked away to dance at a championship, and they would ask me to adjudicate the pipe band championship that was there, and I had to tell them that I haven't sat through any kind of an adjudication process or a certificate or stuff like that. My name was in there. I was bypassed twice because of it's very much your name's in a queue. Yeah. And whether you're an attached adjudicator or an unattached adjudicator, and the needs of the RSPBA panel, what do we need? So there were 2 courses that went on while I had my application in there, and which I really wasn't happy about, and I can understand that, because guys are experiencing that now. You know, they put their name in, and yet there's a course that goes on, and they have to wait until the next course, and there's very much a queue that's there. But anyway, I was finally given the opportunity, and had a wee bit of an attitude when I went into the adjudication course. A really great story was I was on the course with Don Bradford, Donald Mackay, and 2 drummers, Alec Dudgeon and Bill Black. So I was angry at the RSPBA. I was angry at the guys as far as to get onto this panel because I was bypassed on 2 previous occasions. Right. So I was there. The first exercise, you're played 5 performances, pipe band performances. Okay. And the sound system that they were using, I think my alarm radio clock had better speakers than what they had at this time. So you're sitting there like going, you gotta be joking. We can't use CDs, or I think it was even tapes at this time, you know, and you're sitting there like. So anyway, we were to write a critique sheet on the 5 band performances. And so okay, went and did that. Hand in our critique sheets. Bob Shepard and Alistair Aiken were the guys that ran the course. So we had a coffee break during that time period, and they were reading through the sheets. And I think Bob sensed that maybe I had a wee bit of an attitude when I was there, and so as Bob can do, we got done with the coffee, got back again, and he had a group of papers up in his hand, and he said to all of us there, we're all around, he says, tell me something, the introduction, how much of importance do you consider the introduction to be? And he started off. Donald Mackay was at the very, very end, and he says, it's the beginning of the band performance. And so he says, that's correct. And I think Don Bradford was next, and yeah, well, you know, the rolls and coming in on the E and that kind of, yes, that's correct. And the drummers had their say about the consistency of the rolls and stuff like this. And I basically every answer's been exhausted up to this point. So he says, and you, McPhee, he says, do you think that the introduction's important? I says, yeah, Bob. I says, the introduction is important. And the sheets that he had, the 5 sheets that he had, were my sheets. And he went and he says, well, I'll tell you one thing. He says, your 5 sheets, you never mentioned introduction once. And right then and there, I just had this realization of, right, this guy doesn't think I'm worthy of being on this course. So from that point on, I really embraced my training. I embraced everything that they were trying to teach me, whereas as the attitude got knocked out of me. And I thank Bob. Have I thanked him? I haven't, but I've publicly, when I've done adjudication seminars or something in New Zealand, I said this story. It really kind of, hey son, you're here to learn. We know you're a good player. We know your background. We know all this kind of stuff, but you don't know as much as what you think you know. So park it in the back. Don't give me an attitude. I'm the wrong guy to do it. So he never said that, but he did it within his actions. So right then and there, I embraced my training and embraced everything that they tried to teach me. And I've thanked Alistair Aiken on a number of occasions when I've seen him. He was my mentor when I went through the course. I would go up to Alistair, and every time that I see him, listen, I'm really comfortable adjudicating a band competition because of the training that you gave to me, and because of what you gave your expertise and you shared it with me. I'm maybe not comfortable at the end of the day with a decision where you're going like this, because I think there's some times where you really go, did you get that right, or did you get that right? However, being put in that environment, I'm comfortable in that environment, and I have Bob and I have Alistair to thank in a huge way. I really